We have a law that's been on the books now for 25 years. It was passed in the summer of 1984, and it's a law that's very clear. It says that you may not drink until you turn 21.
All the freshmen, I see people go out every night, every day, go out every night, no matter what.
The only logical thought that was going through in my mind was, what if I get caught?
I've seen a lot of young people with blood alcohol levels that are close to their age.
Even if we did lower the drinking age, I don't think that alone is going to have a significant impact on campus drinking.
Emma, do you want to play next?
Swing and a miss. If we look at what this law has accomplished on its own terms, it's very hard to say that it has been a success.
As far as actually drinking, though, I don't think anybody's ever deterred from it because they're underage.
It seems stupid to keep it at 21 when you have so many people who are drinking at 18.
I think if we were to lower the age to 18, we're taking the problem out of the college community and in essence putting it into the high school community.
Should be up for discussion because there is like a huge drinking culture at colleges with underage people.
Be out at 10:30 Downey, Permit C.
Typically what we do is, as we're driving around, we're looking for parties. We're looking for the fraternity parties that have a lot of underage people. Open the door or the landlord will. Usually when they're having a party, all these are out. That's where everybody will go into the party, and the reason they have the stool there is for the guy collecting the money or whatnot to sit. I wonder how much urine's in the stairwell. What's your name? Where are you from? Virginia. I know you're from Virginia, but where?
I'm not trying to run. It's okay. Come on. Just grab a seat here.
Sit down. How old are you?
Grab a seat. 19. I'm sorry.
19? What are you giving me a fake ID for? I'll get a couple tickets and be on your way. I'm not going to take you to jail. I mean, you tried to run back in the house from us, so, you're being cooperative now, so I'm just going to give you a couple tickets and you'll be on your way. Right now, 18, 19, 20-year-olds drinking, there are consequences. So there's a reason for them not to do it, and it gives us leverage. They know that they can't be carrying a beer down the street because they're 20 years old. If they lower the drinking age, then they will be able to, and that just means we're going to have more intoxicated people. People don't drink alcohol because it's illegal. They drink alcohol to fit in.
I think it's a smart idea, but with limitations.
I mean, people in the military, if they can die for the country, why can't they go get some beer?
I think at this point there's so many 18-year-olds drinking anyways, why not lower it? Because it seems stupid to keep it at 21 when you have so many people who are drinking at 18.
There is so much drinking in college and people will drink underage. It's inevitable basically. And so that's scary just with law enforcement and stuff like that.
I think it almost makes people want to drink more when it's something you can't do.
Yep.
I think it drives people to drink more and do more bad things when they do drink.
Whether we like it or not, you are an adult in the eyes of the law at age 18. The current generation of young adults, 18, 19, and 20, have no idea where 21 came from, and to them it seems, as it should, absolutely arbitrary. Why not 22? Why not 20? What's magical about 21? If we're going to base public policy on what science says about brain development, why not 25?
Science is a very important piece of the puzzle when you're discussing policy and law. It needs to inform those discussions, but it simply does not drive the whole thing. So when I say from a neuroscientific perspective, you want to raise the drinking age, I understand very well that that is not going to carry the day.
Shut up. You're not going to get the first shot, dude. You're not.
I didn't really drink at all during high school, so that took, it was an enjoyment part of it. Definitely say that much. First couple weeks being able to go out to a party and not having to worry about anything. Definitely a kind of awakening to, hey, this is how college is. It's not really as strict. It's not a big issue here.
The oldest people here are 22. the youngest people here are like 18, about to be 19. And so there's like 2 or 3 years where it's, I mean, and the people that are 22, we're 18, 3 years, you know what I mean? So it's like, they understand, so they're gonna like, if you ask for a beer, they're not gonna be like, no. You know what I mean? Because they were in your shoes 2 years ago.
Mad Dog 2020, probably the worst invented drink ever. Bling Bling Blue, obviously the best. Don't know why Bling Bling's on there. It really is, worst hangover of your life.
Because, I mean, you don't want to get that underage violation, possession of alcohol, and then get in a world of hurt from the parents, from the school.
I mean, as far as drinking goes, I don't think it deters anybody really, because you're away from your parents. You don't feel like there are really many consequences, except for when the cops come by. Then you all of a sudden you think about it. But I mean, as far as actually drinking though, I don't think anybody's ever deterred from it because they're underage. I think it's less a nuisance to them.
Bryce is getting the keg. Go there first.
For a lot of students, they think, I'm not going to get caught, and in many cases they don't. But even when you talk to campus police and chiefs of police on campuses, where they have really had a concerted effort of a total crackdown, they are really going to be all about enforcement. There's some prominent chief of polices that are saying, we tried it and it still didn't work. We cracked down as much as we possibly could. The students were still drinking, we were still having problems. We have to rethink this.
It seems to me that the risks of allowing states to pilot alternatives are minimal, and if those elected representatives in those states believe they're minimal, then we ought to trust their judgment. I don't believe blood is going to flow in the streets on the day the drinking age is adjusted. And I think it is equally likely that maybe some lives will be saved.
And I guess you just kind of learn almost before you go to college. So when you come to college, you're not the one with like alcohol poisoning and going to the emergency room.
Freshmen living in the dorms, there's a big group of kids, everyone's like, let's go out and explore, and then just progressed.
Live and learn, basically. I mean, you'll experience one thing one night and never do that again.
I don't know, I just slowly with friends, just learning how to just drink with them, see what they're doing, what they're drinking, how it was.
There's a couple times where I reached my limit, and after that, that much will cross the line, and if you don't want to be that drunk, don't drink that much.
It is scary though, because like, live and learn is so vulnerable. You're so vulnerable when it's like that.
We're distributing the Stall Street Journal, which is a social norms marketing publication. The intent of it is to provide education and statistical information to mostly first-year students. That's our target population. The game room may also be closed today, so I'll have to check and see whether or not that's done. But some of the ones, especially like in Newcomb, tend to get overlooked or forgotten. Reinforce the healthy behavioral choices that students are making and dispel the myths about the unhealthy behaviors, because it's human nature to overemphasize the unhealthy behaviors and to downplay the protective behaviors and the healthier things that people are doing. You toss it on your back, you pull one out, you drop it in.
There's an assumption. The drinking age hasn't worked at all. With the other side saying, yes, it really has. And I've seen panel discussions with people on both sides, and it's very heated. And even using some of the same studies or the same data sets to support both sides.
What we have in our heads about what college is like often doesn't match. Before you enrolled at UVA, did you ever drink alcohol with the intention of getting drunk? From some parents who say, but they're all underage.
At UVA, looking at first-year student drinking behaviors, students drink less now as first years than they have in 40 years. In the 70s, which is when the drinking age was lowered to 18, we did see an increase. And it looks like that continued, probably peaked in the early 80s, late 70s, and then slowly has been going down since then.
There's plenty of 16-year-olds who know 18-year-olds, but not any 21-year-olds. And I know that was the case for me in high school.
Senior year, I guess, of high school, there weren't a whole lot of 21-year-olds that I knew. One or two, and at that time, wouldn't have been comfortable with asking them for alcohol. 18-year-olds, on the other hand, that was probably a quarter of the class.
some 18-year-olds aren't mature enough to handle it, and I think by giving them that right, they're going to abuse it.
Changing the legal aspect of that is not going to change why people drink.
She survived. We still have a lot of parents are not so lucky.
We honor law enforcement officers that have done the most, either in teaching or by getting them off the road to eradicate drunk driving.
Thanks a lot and keep up the good work.
Seeing our daughter lying in the hospital, severely injured, and knowing that a lot of other parents have lost children and have lost loved ones, and hoping to eradicate that. It's horrible to have to go through. We have worked for many, many, many years to try to eradicate drunk driving, and I think lowering the age is just going to make it worse.
I think it's a responsible law at this point in time. Right now, we have an infrastructure set up to deal with the issues of underage drinking. I think if we were to lower the age to 18, we're taking the problem out of the college community and in essence putting it into the high school community.
And so you just keep lowering the age and the ability for people to get access to alcohol, and so that problem just transfers from a college campus to a high school campus.
That the average age at which a young person first consumes alcohol is younger now than it's ever been. This makes me very impatient with people who say, well, if we lower the age, we're simply going to have a problem in the high schools and middle schools. They're clueless about what's happening in the high schools and middle schools now.
That's what they'll do is they'll go in when they see us, tell everybody to turn the music down. That way it doesn't look like they're having a party, and that's a lot of the reasons why they have someone outside is to look for us. Turn your music down a little.
No problem, officer.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
I think they turned it up.
I think that I did go through times when I was like, when I wanted to party and I didn't see anything wrong with it, but that last logical thought was, oh, it's illegal. Yeah.
The big argument is that people learn to drink responsibly when they start drinking younger. Well, there's nothing from the European countries that suggests that. It's a myth that we as Americans have chosen to believe.
Yo! For the movie that reminded me of Jeff. The party's out of control. Absolutely stop it. But don't sit there and hand out tickets just because you can to kids. You're going to affect their lives here.
I'm not going to say that kids aren't going to come here and drink. If they do, they have to understand that they're breaking the law.
People don't they get thrown into the mix when they get into college and don't know what's going on. They've never drank before in their lives, and then they don't know how to handle themselves. And that's one of the big issues. They don't know that they can't drive. They don't understand that it affects them, their motor skills and things like that. So
I just got off work, so we're getting hammered tonight.
In this society, alcohol is a drug.
People want to drink, they're going to drink regardless of age.
People drink alcohol because of its effects on the brain.
If you want to drink, you're going to find a way to drink. I don't think being 21 or you have to be 21, it didn't have an effect on anyone.
It makes it a pharmacological event to drink.
There's a lot of celebration of college drinking and a lot of let me tell you the drinking stories. How does that have an impact, along with the drinking age?
When you have 18-year-olds whose blood alcohol content is 0.18 or 0.19 or higher, those are serious alcohol levels, and it just seems like we see more and more of that.
I know that the European culture is, oh well, people are more responsible because it's legal, and I'm not quite sure how long it would take for our culture to change into that.
We don't let people drive cars without teaching them how to drive cars. Person goes into the military, we don't let them just start shooting guns at people without teaching them how to do that. Why just turn them loose to drink at 21 or 18 or 25? It doesn't matter.
It has to start with the family and a good foundation of what's responsible and what's not.
Merely adjusting the age, whether it's raising it to 21 or lowering it to 18, is going to result in a failed experiment. The age is only one, and in my view, a very small part of how we address the issue of preparing young people to make responsible decisions about alcohol.